Hello, my rainbows of all kinds, and welcome to a segment we're doing on the channel called Mini Mario Reviews. This is a show where I'll be reviewing stuff that Jay isn't interested in covering on our podcast, but I am. For our 5th episode, we're finally going to be talking about it. Yeah, that's right, we're finally going to be talking about Season 2 of Helluva Boss. Now, for those who don't know, I have talked about this show before, but this time we're talking about Season 2 of that show. If you want to see my thoughts on Season 1 and a summary of what the show is about, please go check it out in the playlist on the channel labeled Mini Mario Reviews. I believe it's the second one I did, but it's not hard to find, I promise. Something else I'm going to mention about this video is that compared to Season 1, we also have some shorts that we are going to be talking about as well. I was debating on making the shorts its own separate video, but we only have 4 shorts. So I decided to just add them to this review since they did air between episodes. If a season has shorts air during it or before a season is airing, I will be adding them to that season when I do the review for it. So whatever shorts come after the season, I'll be reviewing them with the next season that they are in. So since Season 2 of Helluva Boss has 12 episodes and 4 shorts, that basically makes it 16 episodes. Now that I got that out of the way, let's begin with the review and what basically is going on since our last review of this series. So the first 4 to 5 episodes are basically the crew going on missions like the first season, but we do get some more in-depth moments. We get to see character development for pretty much everyone in the main cast except for Octavia and Luna. Sadly, those two don't get much development in the first half of the season. Other than that, the first 5 episodes are kind of filler and they drag a little bit. Not to mention that the first half of the season is almost 2 years old at the time I'm recording this. Episode 6 is where stuff finally starts to pick up as we are given a reintroduction to Fizzarali and Osmodius. The last time we saw those two was back in Season 1 a while ago. Now, I don't know if it counts as that, but in my opinion, I feel like it does. This is the episode that got me fully into the series. Before now, I was just a casual watcher of the show. After seeing this episode when it first came out, I feel like my life has changed along with my opinion to this show. There are a few moments that contribute to this. One of them being how Fizz and Blitz rekindled their friendship. Before now, it seemed like they had been great friends and then had some sort of falling out as they got older. This is actually explained in the episode, and we get to see a flashback of what happened that led to their falling out. We don't see the direct falling out, but we do see something that very well contributed to it. Seeing the two of them finally start to talk about their falling out after not talking for over 15 years, it just made me want to see more and learn more about them, their relationship, and their past. Both Brendan Rogers and Alex Brightman did awesome with their voice acting for these characters. The emotions are real and raw. It made me start to like Fizz a lot more as a character and got me to enjoy the show even more than I already did. It just goes up from here, ladies, gentlemen, and gentle days. Another thing I love about this season was the fact that we also got some great and improved animation in the later half of the season. Blitz is really coming into his own, and I enjoy his friendship with Millie, his relationship with his daughter Luna, Moxie, and Stolas. For most of the series, Stolas and Blitz's relationship was not a healthy one, and was more for transactional reasons. Basically, Blitz and Stolas had an arrangement to where if Blitz did what he was needed to do for Stolas, he got to use his grimoire for his imp business. It was also a class issue, Blitz being lower class compared to Stolas. So not the best kind of relationship and not the most healthy one either. You guys are wondering what is to come out of this relationship if they were to stop this. Well, we actually get to explore that in episode 8. Up until this point, ever since the episode in Season 1 where they're at Ozzy's, it was hinted at that they were going to have a good talk about this. Unfortunately, in my opinion, this was dragged out a lot longer than I think it should have been. It is something that I feel like should not have taken up. It feels like it's something that should have been taken care of a long time ago. Stolas definitely saw this as more an emotional relationship because of everything he went through with his ex-wife, Stella, his daughter, Octavia, and of course the fact that he is gay. He's got a lot on his plate. We also have Blitz, who isn't the best at relationships in the first place, now scared his only source of income and ways to operate his business is vanishing. After the two of them dissolve their transactional relationship, we see them both coming to terms with it in their own way, but at a slower pace. We'll continue talking about the relationship more in a bit. I do want to talk about some of the other relationships that have also improved in the season as well. We're going to start with Luna and her familiar relationship with Blitz. From the start of the series, you can see Luna basically resenting Blitz for being her dad, in a sense. I don't know how long ago she was adopted by him. I'm assuming for a while she's at least 18 now. Over the course of the season, we really get to see the two of them start to grow closer, and Luna start to appreciate her dad a lot more. Even though it is a very minor plot point in episode 11, when Bliss is about to be executed for his crimes, you do see Luna can't say anything until afterwards because they covered her mouth. She can't say goodbye or object to anything. She is forced into silence, something she obviously doesn't want to do. You can see in her eyes that this is serious. My dad is about to be gone. The only person that considered me family about to be gone. Thankfully, he doesn't die, and later in the episode, she finally tells her dad how much she loves him being there for her. The only other time she's called him dad was back in the last episode of season 1. I'm so happy that we finally get to see Luna appreciate her dad more and all that he's doing for her, and the others he cares about. I'm hoping we get to see more of Luna's relationship with her dad more next season, along with some more backstory for her, because we definitely don't get enough of that, which is very sad in my opinion. Now, something I wasn't expecting out of this season was finding out about Millie and Blitz's friendship and how that started. Episode 10 of the season brought us a Blitz and Millie team-up episode, and honestly, I loved it. It also was basically the Halloween episode for the season, which I also thought was pretty cool. Getting to see these two fighting together to solve the mystery was so fun, and we also got to learn about how Millie joined IMP. Millie finally got some much-needed backstory, which I was over the moon about. Her and Blitz's friendship was so interesting to find out about, and I hope we get more Millie and Blitz team-ups next season as well. Now back to finishing about my points about Stolitz, which is basically soulless exploits for those who don't know. So with the way the episode ended, where does it go from here? These two definitely have a lot of work to do with their relationship. Vivzy did say that the end goal for these two was to end up together by the end of the show. I'm curious to see where these two go from here, but I know it's going to be a lot of work for these two to not be as toxic as they were before their relationship. So for now, we'll have to wait and see what they have in store for us with these two in future seasons. The last thing I'll talk about this season will be the ending of the season 2 finale. Besides finding out Stolas losing his daughter, we also find out Besides finding out about Stolas losing his daughter, we also find out an even bigger reveal. Yep, Millie is expecting, and from the looks of it, she doesn't seem too excited about it. Now, this is something I have been thinking about ever since the finale came out. I'm genuinely curious to see where this plot point goes in the next season. At this point in time, let's just assume that Moxie doesn't know about it. So we have the question, how will the show take this? How is the show going to go about this pregnancy? Now, there are a few ways to go about it. We could go the easy route and just have Millie tell Moxie that she's expecting and see that he's supportive of her having his baby. A few people have been coming up with a theory that maybe Millie cheated on Moxie with somebody else. Now, based on the reaction she had, I don't think that would be the case personally. However, I can see where people could get that idea, but I highly doubt it because of how these two are in the show and how much they care about one another. I highly doubt Millie cheated on Moxie. Pregnancy is a scary thing to go through, so her feelings about it are valid. Anyway, another plot point that they could do would be that maybe Millie and Moxie don't want to have kids. We don't know if they are financially stable enough to afford them, which is also something scary to think about as well. They could end up having the baby and then giving it up for adoption. I wouldn't be surprised at that outcome either. Now, there is one plot point that I'm actually curious about if the team will be able to tackle it and also find a good way to pull it off. That plot point would be, what if they both don't want the baby and decide to get an abortion? I know this is a controversial topic for a lot of people out there, but it is a plot point that I feel like is rarely talked about. The only time I've seen this tackled at all, or at least very well, was BoJack Horseman. Now, for those who don't know, we've covered BoJack on this channel. It was actually one of our first podcasts we ever talked about. This show is a very heavy show, so it isn't for the light of heart. However, this was the only show that I have seen talk about abortion in a real and executed it very well. In a very real and executed way, and it was done very well. If there are other ones, let me know. This is the only one that I have personally seen. Anyway, in that episode, Diane finds out she's pregnant by Mr. Peanut Butter, and she obviously doesn't want to keep it and decides to get an abortion. The way that this episode tackles this topic was so well done, but sadly, this is one of the only shows that I have personally seen that has had an episode about abortion. The only other one that I know of that has a topic at least talked about in it is Moral Oral, but I haven't seen that show, so I can't really, say much about it because I haven't seen it. So I don't know if this is something that Vivziepop and her team will tackle in the show, but if they do, I'm genuinely curious about how well they can pull it off and execute this topic. Because it's not really talked about a lot, and there's a lot of people that, I feel like this could relate to. Anyway, personally for me, I'm happy with whatever they do for this plot point, but it is one that I've had the most questions about and theories about how it will go. We'll just have to see what next season, how they decide to tackle it with Millie and where they go from here, along with other plot points they are doing as well. Now, the last thing we're going to cover before I give my rating on season 2 will be the shorts that came out this season. I am counting them since they did air during the season. There are 4 shorts, so let's go over them. We have one short about Millie and her transgender sister, Sally Mae, having a girls' day. The second one is basically about IMP going into the Arctic on a mission. Then we have a Blitz solo mission involving an otaku girl. And we finally got a short about IMP doing a mission involving goats. And Blitz ends up getting left behind to finish the job. Those are basically the 4 shorts that we got. There's not really much to them, but it is nice to kind of get a little bit of like backstory and stuff. Like just character interactions in general and getting to see more missions that IMP does when they're not focused on the main plot. Honestly, there are some good shorts, and they do give us some more context involving some of the missions the team has been on, along with some character interactions and stuff. My personal favorites are the first short with Millie and her sister, and short 3, where it's a Blitz solo mission. But honestly, all of them are good. There isn't much to them, but if you do like to learn more about certain characters and some more missions that the team has been on and stuff, then I think you'll like them. We do plan on getting more shorts before season 3 starts, but I will be covering those shorts that come out before season 3 in the next review for the show. Overall, season 2 has improved a lot of things with the show, from the animation getting better to some better writing on some episodes, mainly in the second half compared to the first half. It was honestly so much better than season 1, and I'm curious where the show will go from here. Hopefully season 3 will be just as good, and I hope the shorts that air before it will also be good as well. It still has some things that need to be improved on, like some writing in some areas, but other than that, it was still enjoyable. I will give season 2 of Helluva Boss 4 Maris out of 5. Anyway, that's basically the mini Mari review for Helluva Boss season 2. Hope you all enjoy it, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, my rainbows!